Just a phenomenal performance by our defense. I think we played championship defense since week one. Obviously, a phenomenal Hogan team that's been to 7 straight, winning 5 of those 7. Hats off to Coach. Hats off to Hogan. Obviously, just couldn't be more proud of our kids. They've handled change. They've rolled with it. They've led. They've worked hard. Just truly blessed.
Any questions?
A lot of people probably perceive you to be the underdogs in this game. Do you guys kind of thrive on that?
Amen. Yeah, these guys can probably, to talk maybe a little bit about that, but there's no doubt. We've had adversity, we've had things that's happened in-house that only our guys know about, that we've had to overcome and things like that. And I just think toughness and resilient are just 2 words that describe these guys and this football team.
Coach, you guys had a really tough start of the season, schedule-wise and things of that nature. Obviously the competition was really tough. What do you think was a turning point for you guys early? Because I think you guys were like, what, 5-4-3 or something like that?
Yeah, we were 1-2 once upon a time, and then 4-3 later on. And I just think the amount of belief and things like that in what was going on, and we had a brand new head coach. Obviously, this is myself, and we had a brand new offensive coordinator, a brand new defensive coordinator, a brand new special teams coordinator, and that takes a little bit of time. You know what I mean? I just couldn't be happier for these guys. You can look at these guys and see why we're sitting here right now. We've got some really, really good football players, and football means a lot at Winton Woods High School and in the community.
Coach said when he was in here about how physical your team was, and he stacked you guys up physically against Ignatius and Ed and Meridian Catholic. So you guys were that physical tonight.
Yep.
Was that obviously a point of emphasis coming into this game, knowing what they had done in the last 5 or 6 weeks?
Yeah, but before Winton Woods was able to get into a conference this past year in the ECC, they've had to schedule Moeller's and some St. Ed's and some of those kind of schools. So I think traditionally speaking, these guys up here have played have played that kind of schedule, since their high school career. I think it's something that they've become accustomed to. But when it comes to physicality, it's a physical sport. We knew Hoban was going to be physical, but we try to. If they're physical, then we need to match that physicality, and I feel like our guys have just stepped up and done that week after week.
Coach Tyrell was talking about how you guys had the perfect game plan, and for with that read option that you're running most of the day. Did you see something that you wanted to exploit, or were we just trying to use 22 girls as a decoy? Or you're really not running out of those things up?
Well, in zone read, the 5 techs are going to have to make a decision. Are they going to squeeze and take the dive? You know what I mean? Are they want the quarterback to run the football, or do they want the back to run the football? And obviously, from what this guy's, Tyreek's been able to do in the last 5 weeks, they would probably prefer our quarterback to run the football. So obviously, they're crashing down on Tyreek to take the run away, which forces our quarterback buddy to run the football. And if there's one thing our quarterback has done, because he's not had an interview all year, he's never been in front of the camera. But if there's a guy on our football team that obviously these guys are the heavy hitters and the guys that are captains and lead this football team. But Austin Buddy Ellery has done a phenomenal job of managing our offense and being efficient when he needs to run and being efficient when we need to pass. And when you combine that with championship defense and some pretty good special teams, it's a good mix.
Tyreek, who's your friend there at the table?
This is our good luck charm. Take it every game.
The unicorn?
Yeah.
Does that have a name?
I don't know it.
Champ?
State champ.
Basically.
Just for you, Tyreek, just what did you see out of that whole defense and how you guys were able to score a couple times on them and get the win?
Honestly, I feel like they couldn't stop us. We stopped ourselves whenever we did. So it's just us getting the blocks right, hitting the holes, making plays.
Tyreek, I was talking to one of your assistant coaches, and he mentioned your vision. He goes, the guy goes, it's like he sees an extra dimension or something. Just tell me about that vision and how it helped you tonight against them.
Oh, it helps a lot. Helps me see open holes, little creases I can get through. So, I'm small. But yeah, it's good. It's good.
J-Ron, can you tell me about, you as a defensive line unit, we're making plays all night. Just speak to how that feels as a player knowing if you don't make it there, one of your teammates is gonna make it there, and just how you guys work together as a unit.
Yeah, our D-line, we the best D-line in the state. So if I don't make it there, I could trust my guys that they gonna make it there.
J-Ron, to that point, I mean, it felt like even if 32 got to that second level, the linebackers, the safeties were coming up and making a play, which I'm sure if you've seen film the last few weeks, that's not been happening. So what is it about the defense as a whole that was able to keep contained and not allow those big plays to happen?
Just communicating, everybody keeping their head up, keeping the energy. 7 linebacker, talking to the linebackers, making sure they in the game, and just keep it 32 from getting like wide open runs and stuff, keep them out of space, keep them enclosed.
7, just what you see out of your defense as a whole tonight. That's, I think, the first time all season they've not scored an offensive touchdown. How were you guys able to keep them out of the end zone?
So the way we kept him out of the end zone was we wanted our D-line to crash, so he had to bounce it out, and we got some pretty fast second level guys that could get to the ball. So as soon as he bounced it out or any cutbacks, we're right there to stop it.
I think you guys are the first, either the defensive guys, I think you guys are the first team that really made them throw the football a lot, especially once the playoffs have started. Was that kind of a key coming in, knowing that if you could stop the run, make them throw? It's something they haven't had to do, and it's something you guys might be able to exploit.
So we know that if they had to throw the ball, that we won the game, because our key this week was to focus on not letting 32 get in open space or run the ball all over us. We stopped the run, and we know they got a pretty good quarterback, but we were able to stop him also.
To go along with that, I'm not sure we've given up over I think we've had one 100-yard rusher, individual rusher, the whole season in 16 weeks. I think we've had Turpin, big boy from Turpin. But even Turpin, in that first meeting, the team rushing was below 100 yards because of tackles for losses and sacks to other guys. So if there's something we've done well, I mean, it stopped the run. And these dudes on the end right here are a huge reason why.
Tyreek, you spoke about your size, but do you think maybe what some may view as something that you have to overcome might be one of your biggest strengths, and just being able to hide behind linemen, make big runs?
Oh yeah, definitely. Behind my linemen, they definitely can't see me. So I'm gonna find this hole, I'm gonna get through it, and then after that, you're gonna have to catch me.
Is Barry Sanders a hero over there, Tyreek?
Actually, one of the persons I watched growing up.
Coach, were you guys prepared on that 4th and 2 for the fake punt?
I mean, obviously we're talking about it, yelling about it. You know, 16 weeks. You've seen a lot of things. You got to be prepared for a lot of things, and I think that's probably one of the biggest things to go along with some phenomenal football players is Greg Forrest, our offensive coordinator, and Carlton Gray, our defensive coordinator, and Everett Hibbert, our special teams coordinator, have done a phenomenal job of preparing our guys. So you got to have players, and we've got a ton of really good football players. And our coordinators, our 3 coordinators, have just done a phenomenal job of preparing our guys. So to answer your question, I'd say probably so.
Any of the players, Coach said at the beginning of this press conference that, yeah, you guys have kind of Cinderella, but ask the players can tell you. Well, have you guys felt that? Have you heard that coming in as a 7 seed, that nobody believes in us kind of thing?
I'll take it. Personally, I feel like since the summer, everybody's always doubted us, said all their coaches left, they're not finna be nothing, they got a whole new staff, they're not finna understand anything that's going on. And we just put our head on straight and went forward, just play how we knew how to play.
specifically coming into tonight, did you guys hear any of that? Was there a message going into this week?
So, being that it's been 5 years since we've been to a state title, we've had a lot of doubts. Since, reporters saying we'd lose by 14 points. We just shut that out and locked in.
Did any of you guys have brothers or family that was on the 2017 team? Anyone telling you about what happened that night?
So we had a couple people, also 2009 players come back and talk to us about how they felt about winning it, and some from the year before then telling us how they felt about losing it. They said it's on us to keep the legacy, and we kept it.
Chad, over their run, Hoban's run the last 6-7 years, thing they've really feasted on is when another team makes a mistake, they turn that mistake into a lead, and then it just sort of snowballs. How did you guys, the start for you guys could have gone very sideways with the way everything went. What was it about the kids and the poise they had on the sideline that they didn't let that become that snowball that Hoban has used so many times over the years to kind of turn games into routes?
Well, sudden change is a big piece of football. Being able to, whether it be the offense turning it over or in that case special teams, knee down, whatever. Sudden change, being able to handle sudden change is huge. Putting out fires, with our defense, being able to hold them to a field goal early, you know what I mean, as opposed to giving up a touchdown was huge. But handling sudden change is nothing more than handling adversity, things that we've learned to handle all year long, and some of these guys have prepared their whole life to handle. You know what I mean? So really, it comes down to a toughness thing. Adversity doesn't take a lot of talent. Adversity just takes a lot of toughness, and I think that's just another testament to the toughness of this football team.
Coach, to that point too, the second half started kind of the same way. They get a turnover for a touchdown. Now it's a one-score possession. Then you guys take the ball. The next possession is go right down and score. Was there a message you gave them between the possessions, or did they just kind of go out and know, hey, we got to go out and score?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to sit here and tell you that I had time to go yell at them and talk to them and tell them all these great quotes and this and that, but nah. I mean, that obviously we're barking at a few and hoping that the leadership of the football team handles itself, because especially in an atmosphere like that, they're only hearing half of what we're saying anyway on the field of play. You got to rely on your guys. You got to rely on your leadership, and that's what we've done. That's what we've done. I mean, I've relied on phenomenal coordinators to coach without me being Mr. I was fired in 2018. I was a State of Ohio Coach of the Year in 2012. I was fired in 2018. I stepped back to be an assistant for 2 years, and in those 2 years, I had a lot of time to look in the mirror and reflect and see what I need to do better. I'm 44 years old and still trying to be a better person, dad, husband, football coach every day of my life. And one of the things I needed to do was hire good people, just like they say all the time, hire good people and let them coach. That's what I've done. And we've also chosen great leadership on this football team and let them be leaders, because a player-led team has the chance to be a state champion. A coach-led team where I got to tell them every move to make, not so much. These dudes are player-led, phenomenal leadership from our coordinators, phenomenal leadership from our captains, our senior class. There's been some underclassmen show some great leadership. And like I said, football's been important in Forest Park and Green Hills for a long, long time.
Coach, KC had obviously misfortune on the punt, but had a big run on the drive after the strip fumble. Can you just say anything about his explosiveness? And it's kind of been the X factor, it seems like.
Yeah, he has, because if you only got one guy to focus on, which he's the guy, or that's what was going on early in the season before we found our identity. Stop 22 and you got him, you know what I mean? So KC's a special dude. I think we got two of the most dynamic dudes in the state of Ohio. One sitting right here, and the other guy's 26. And you saw it tonight. You know what I mean? It was a play that was kind of stuffed a little bit inside and bounced it. And he at times he shows such strength, just like this guy, being able to break tackles. And then has the speed to not get caught. I mean, so Casey's a special kid. I mean, obviously a junior, and he's got another year high school football player, but you know, not only what he does with the ball in his hands, I think he averages 16 or 17 yards a touch between receptions and rushing. He averaged about 16 or 17 yards every time he touches the ball. So really that comes down to just some coaching. Hey, this guy averages 16 or 17 yards a touch. I think we might need to get him the ball a little bit more. You know what I mean? He also has done a phenomenal job throughout the playoffs in punting for us. I think he's averaged over 40 yards a punt. He's had a 62-yarder in the last couple weeks. Our punt team has done a great job of downing the ball inside the 20. And anytime, statistically speaking, when a team has to start from the 20 or inside the 20 against our defense, the odds are in our favor.